I don't know what light whiskey is. It's like Diet Coke.
It's just kind of like,
it's the European European
Coke
version.
Light.
Of
you know when you go to like
Just-
Mexico and you go to the all inclusive and you get your Diet Coke, it says Coke Light on it.
And welcome everyone to episode 54 of The Mashup, the best bourbon conversation you're going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Michael, Anthony, and Steven. Hello, fellas.
What's going on, guys?
hello.
You know, this is the best bourbon conversation you'll hear all week. And I'm not just saying that because I only listen to one.
Why are you saying that?
I just feel like it's, I've got a lot of confidence in us.
I do too, I think that it's very special, right? This conversation is a special conversation. Where else are you going to get this kind of back and forth?
Well, I did have a kid the other day tell me she was going to smack the glasses off my face.
Really?
Yeah.
This is while you're teaching?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't teach, but yes. I mean, I teach, but
So you're out
I
there
wasn't teaching at that time.
Okay, so you're out there minding your own business, and you're not doing anything. You're just hanging out. And
It was a simple misunderstanding. She thought she was supposed to be one place. I thought she was supposed to be another. She decided she was going to try. She didn't try to. She just told me she was going to smack the glasses off my face.
Oh, man.
Well, actually, she told another teacher that she was going to smack the glasses off my face.
I don't even know how I would respond to that. How would you respond to that, Steven?
I don't know. I have difficulty with kids when they talk back like that.
The teacher she was talking to said, I don't think he wears glasses.
Oh.
Which just, he was just kind of doing that to egg her on a little bit, you know. So now it's become a debate on whether I wear glasses or not in class.
Nice.
So, now she's probably rethinking whether I wear glasses or not.
So now when you go in the next
I'm not
day,
going to wear glasses.
don't
the
wear
next
glasses.
time. That's exactly right.
Mess with her.
Nice.
So we'll see.
You'd be sneaking around. Nobody will know who you are.
Right.
Perfect.
Who's the new guy without glasses?
That's right.
Get these glasses off and make sure I fool everybody. That'd be a good disguise to go back in line for bourbon too, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I know people that bring 3, 4, 5 changes of clothes.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna.
Why don't they just walk around the store and then go to a different register or something? That's what I do.
Well, I've done that before and I got caught, so I'm not swift like that. So I'm down for the disguise. Anyway.
Or if they have it sitting out, I usually grab like 2 bottles and then kind of walk around the store and tuck one in behind on a shelf somewhere for
I
the
got
next
you for
person
later.
to come in.
Like on the bottom shelf in the back?
Yeah, it said.
Yeah, I used to do that with. I used to collect some different types of collectible toys and action figures, and I would definitely hide stuff in stores. But I thought, with alcohol, I was like, it's too organized. I don't want to take something from one section and put in another. But I need to do that, man.
Yeah, so I was at a store the one time, and I went up there. I paid for one, went out to my car, took it out there, came back in, grabbed another one, went to a different register, paid for that, went back out to my car, came back in, and then grabbed another one and just walked around until a buddy of mine was finally getting there, to pay for his. So then I could just hand it to him because he wasn't going to get there in time to get one. I just pretend like I was shopping for a little bit.
I love it.
I would say screw the bourbon section. Throw that extra bottle maybe in the dark rum.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Or the wine.
Yeah, you just take it over to one of the other sections.
Yeah,
and
completely opposite end of the store that no one's going to even
especially
go
like
to.
a big store. Like I've done that at Total Wine. You just plop it in your cart and walk around for a while and then drop it over in the beer section somewhere and take it back in the cooler.
I was going to say you can go and walk in cooler and show it way back there.
Now that you said that, somebody did that one time, but they did a really bad job. So they took an Elijah Craig barrel proof and put it with the rest of the Elijah Craig, but all the way in the back. And of course, I'm looking on the shelf and I'm like, if there's any barrel proof, I'll be able to see it because there's a neck tag on it, right? Mm-hmm. And so I saw the neck tag all the way in the back and I reached over and nearly knocked all the bottles down and grabbed it. And then someone was like, we didn't think we had any more of those. I'm like, of course you didn't because somebody hit it and I found it. So we're all good.
Of all the regular ones, the hardest ones to probably hide would be like Weller Full Proof, like if they get one of those because it's got a blue label and there's no Wellers anywhere else in the store.
Yeah, you're not going to mistake that for anything.
Right. Like a Buffalo Trace store pick, you can tuck it in with the regular Buffalo Traces and it's usually just got the one little round orange sticker on there, so you're not going to be able to notice that one maybe.
Yeah. I did see a Michter's barrel strength rye one time tucked behind regular Michter's rye, which...
Think somebody was hiding it, or do you think the store just kind of didn't really know the difference?
I don't really know, to tell you the truth, because, I was just happy to find it, and I didn't really think if that happened, but maybe it was just a miss, with the stocking.
To all you listeners, moral of the story is
look
around.
Look behind
Go
the
to
bottles.
the back. I do that with the bread. so that I can, in the back is where they get the ones with the
freshest.
Oh, yeah.
the freshest,
Yeah.
with the expiration dates, the latest.
So make sure you scour your store shelves, like not just a regular like look over to see what you got, but like really get in there and look behind everything.
I wonder if like those people that did that and then kind of forgot about it, and then finally they were
Somebody just
restocking
figured
it or something.
out. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It says we have one left in the store.
It may turn up, it may not. It might. The store might have to go out of business. They might have to tear the rack down to find it.
But the ones with the regular size bottles that are exactly the same, they can be easy to tuck back there, like a 1792 or something, like a sweet wheat. You can kind of tuck it in with the small batches.
Oh yeah.
Or any of the real nice wine bottle bourbons go in the wine section. Tuck
Yeah.
that bad boy back there.
That's
Yeah,
true.
absolutely.
No one,
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to find that.
Put that B-tack behind.
Yeah, behind some like
Yeah.
Because all those times we go to stores and we're like, I wish I could buy more than one of these George T. Stags. So you go and you tuck one behind a wine bottle and, come back and get it a little bit later. Yeah.
So speaking of, have either one of you gotten your emails from Liquor Barn yet? Did y'all win? I'm
No.
assuming we didn't. Yeah, I didn't win anything.
No,
Not
I
yet,
didn't.
at least. I haven't heard that I haven't won
Well,
anything.
yeah, I was gonna say I haven't got anything.
Yeah, I got nothing either.
I mean, I'm assuming I
and
didn't win anything. But
I have heard there's been some sanctioned emails that have gone out, so we can assume that we've probably all lost. But
So I figured the only ones I've seen go out were like Pappy 20s and Pappy 15s and stuff like that. So I'm thinking maybe I didn't win one of those, but maybe they're going down to the next tier of winners, of like the B-Tax or the...
Well, I hate to bust your bubble live and direct, but the person that told me today said that they heard that somebody got like a Lot B email.
Oh.
So that's got to be getting
a
farther
little
down.
bit
Yeah.
closer down.
Or someone that doesn't know any better.
It might be.
Yeah.
Or
I'm
somebody just lied
not
to
expecting
somebody.
to win anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
No, it'd be nice though to win, like one of us to bring one of these home. But like, I had talked to somebody I know that might know something about Liquor Barn. Let's put it that way. And I just asked, "How are the entries this year?" And the response I got was double, if not more, than we had last year.
Wow.
which
If
is
you think
crazy
about
because they
that.
really only gave you like a week's notice, and the turnaround was a lot faster this year. Like they announced it on like February 1st, and the lottery started like February 3rd, and you only had like 7 days or something to fill it out. So
But being open to what? How many states? Indiana, Ohio, and Tennessee.
is that what it was? I
and
didn't,
Kentucky, of course. So
Right.
4 states, I think, which is
I didn't know that.
a lot of people that are going to go crazy. I don't get that because they're not in all those states, but whatever. I mean, I guess they are with Drizzly now, right?
Well, and I guess they just figure
Yeah.
those are the ones that people can reasonably get to.
Yeah,
That's
true.
And I've talked about my buddy in Georgia, but he said I'd enter it. He goes, if I want a lot B, he's like, I'd drive
Yeah,
up
you
on
drive up
drive
to
up
it. Yeah,
on
I
a
would
Saturday
too.
and get it. Like it's worth it.
I totally would.
He entered the double oak one at Woodford. He's like, I'd drive up to the distillery for a,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
especially since he's still got family here. He's got a reason to come up.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
Well, guys, before we get into our bottle tonight, we have 2 more shout-outs this week. We got a shout-out for Brian Rogers and Trent Hale 07.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And I know that Trenton, good old TG over there, like, we've been mixing up a little bit, talking about the episodes, and I'm just proud to have you listening, man. We really appreciate it. So just want to say thanks.
And just remember, if you guys want a shout-out, just give us a review on Apple Podcast, and we'll get yours out here.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so fellas, for this week, we have a bottle of Old Carter Whiskey Batch 3.
So, yeah, here we got the Old Carter American Whiskey Batch 3 from obviously, the distillery is Old Carter. Bottle date is 2020, and the ABV on this thing is a blistering 69.05. So 138.1 proof. It's age dated at 12 years old. The mash bill is undisclosed, and the MSRP is $175.
so we recently went to Old Carter and got to meet the Carters.
Yeah, we did. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. No, it was a lot of fun. But so I asked Sherri Carter about the small batch. This is a small batch, and so I asked her how many barrels are in the. It's a little math issue here for you.
Okay.
I said how many barrels are in the small batch, and she said 3. So, but then they have a very small batch.
That's true.
So let's do some deductive reasoning here.
Okay.
And so if the small batch is 3 and then you only have 1 barrel, then it's called a single barrel. So a very small batch must mean it has how many barrels?
2?
Yeah, I think that's what I think that's what I got out of that.
But this can't be really 3 barrel. Can it be really 3 barrels? It was out of how many? What?
Well, this was a small batch. So I mean,
Oh, so yeah, I guess it could be.
So this is the 3-barrel one. So
What's the proof on this? It's
138,
138, and it's how many bottles?
2,400.
So 2,400 bottles. Stretch it maybe. So was it higher proof? They watered it down a little bit. It can't be just 3 barrels, can it?
Well, I mean, I don't. Maybe this one. That was the one that we tried. So maybe.
yeah.
So maybe it was a lot lower proof. So
that might be it.
So anyway, so this bottle is it looks stately, doesn't it?
It does.
It does.
Yeah, it's got a good shape to it. It's got the good whiskey bottle shape. I think it's not quite a wine bottle, but it
feels like it's thicker than a wine bottle.
Yeah, it feels like it's a really good bottle.
Yeah,
I really like it's got the heavy bottom on it, glass bottom on there like that. The label, we've learned that we're all hand labeled, right? Hand stuck on there.
All hand labeled.
Yeah. So,
in fact, do you remember what the Jay told us when we were there? He said that he convinces people to come help them label bottles, and then after an hour or two, they're like, "I'm not for this anymore." He's like, "Oh, keep going." Remember that?
Yeah, it sounds like fun. I mean, then you get there, and he's like, "Hey, we got 2,487 of these things to do." You know, like
there are a lot of stickers on there.
Well, that's what I was just thinking. Like, you know, it's probably one thing to
and they're independent and they're all separate
to stick like the front label on, but then you got the back, then you got the batch thing at the bottom, and then you got this little neck one here,
the age,
and then you got the one that goes over the cap. Like, there's a lot of stickers.
And you got to line up the front.
It is a lot, yeah.
You know, these right here aren't easy. These ones that are like
around the neck.
Yeah, you know, I've put on a lot of decals on kids' toys, and this is kind of what this is like when you're trying to like bend it around something like that.
Yeah, there ain't no way.
But so it doesn't have a lot of color to it. It's kind of got that beige look, but that's what makes it, I think, look as expensive as the $175.
Yeah, it looks old and stately, like you said.
It says it's born from the soul of Somerset, and we learned that the Carter family has some history in Somerset.
That's right. Wasn't it Mark that had his family there?
Yeah. So, but it was pretty good. It does not have, it does say distilled in Indiana on it. So
yeah.
But she did tell us that they get their stuff from wherever they can get it from.
Yeah.
So it's not always going to be Indiana.
Exactly. So in this case, we're going to have to assume it's MGPI stuff, but there was not much more past that we know.
It's interesting. It's a good looking bottle, though. Probably one of my favorite bottles.
Oh, yeah. It looks very nice. Do you remember what was discussed about this horse logo?
I think she painted it, correct?
She did, yeah.
She had already done it. Like,
yes.
it didn't have anything to do with the bourbon. Like,
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I think she had already just kind of done it because she liked to draw horses or...
Yeah, so, yeah, as I say, when we get into talking about this, hopefully when we have some sips of this pour, that we can talk about the fact that there's been multiple things that both Mark and Sherri have been involved with that have been, you know, other careers in and of themselves, you know, other than whiskey making, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that they, I guess they're still able to get the bottles. They were talking about the glass shortage and being hard to get bottles. So 2020, this one probably wasn't that big a deal, but at that time, but...
Seems like they're doing a good job of navigating everything. They seem like they were even more chipper than we are, and they're running a whiskey company, right?
Yeah, and a bunch of other stuff, too.
Yeah, and a bunch of other things.
Owning buildings and everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
So, fellas, should we go for our first notes?
The nose to me is just like an inviting. It's not soft by any means. It's a very thick nose that has a lot of caramel, brown sugar kind of notes to me.
A lot of caramel, brown sugar.
Yeah. It's really, to me, nosing it's very nice. But you can definitely tell there's some proof there.
But not that much ethanol.
Yeah.
I don't get much.
No, I mean, if I just sniffed this, I wouldn't think it'd be 138 proof.
Yeah.
Like a quick sniff, I kind of get an old lady's perfume. The old lady, not Coco Chanel.
I got you.
More like the thing you get at Kohl's, you know?
Like some floral.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely some floral.
So Mark and Sherri, they blend all their own product. They give it the first go through before they start allowing other people to like sample it as well. They think they do a pretty good job of blending their barrels together. It's a skill they have.
Oh, absolutely. The fact that, I mean, that was one of the most impressive things. When we were talking to them, they kept talking about the difference between people that just buy barrels and put them out, right? So we know of plenty of companies that just are sourcing whiskey. They're just might be warehousing it, whatever. They made it a point to talk about how they really try to put all the love and care into figuring out that blend. Essentially, if you're not producing your own whiskey, which they are starting to, and they have stuff that's coming of age, but if you have stuff you're sourcing, really, what does it come down to? It comes down to the blending, that technique.
She made that pretty clear, asking about if they're ever going to be like barrel picks and stuff like that. She's like, what's the point? Because what we do is
is
blend.
the pick. Yeah.
So why would you make a single barrel? Like that's, we're never going to have that because we blend.
Oh, absolutely. And I know in the past, in a couple like previous episodes, we've talked about like the non-distiller producer kind of people. And even though they don't fit that category 100% because they are producing their own stuff, what is your contribution and what does it mean? And they've done, and I know we can talk a little bit about if you guys want to mention Kentucky Owl, but like they've been doing this for quite a while now. But the way that they've launched Old Carter, it's only been a couple of years, has been very well received.
Well, you said there's no single barrel program, but there actually is kind of a little hidden secret gem that they gave us. They both come up with the rye and the bourbon, their mixture, and they put a batch number on there, but they don't tell everyone who's picked who.
Yeah, pretty much, right? That was one of the funny things when they were saying that they've done certain things where they've had people taste test different batches that they might be trying to put together, and they can't pick a clear winner. And so one might be Mark's batch, one might be Sherry's, right? Is that
Yep.
I remember correctly?
And they don't,
That's
and
pretty
it's
funny.
and it's not the same, like,
Yeah.
Mark's not the even and she's the odd number. It's completely random
Just
how they
some
put them
random
out there.
stuff, yeah. Which is part of the character of their brand. It's a really kind of I don't know. It's like a fun story.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you guys can't imagine to ever like be. Your wives aren't going to be blending whiskey with you. I know my wife's not.
No, I don't think so. I don't even know that I'd be blending a whiskey. So,
are you sure? I'm looking at you right now. I think you got it in you.
I don't have one of those infinity barrels or what does people call them?
Infinity bottles.
Yeah,
you got
whatever
that
it's
going
called.
on? Yeah.
People
All
that
right.
take their decanters.
You love your decanter.
There you
I
go.
know, right? Mix a little
Old
bit of
man.
everything in there.
Old man decanter.
Well, should we go for our first taste?
Yep, sounds good. I'm eager to hear what you guys have to say because I like what I taste, but I also know it's like this is some barrel proof stuff.
Yeah. To piggyback off what Michael was saying about this looking like a luxury item, it has a luxury price to it. But I can imagine, like we were with the Carters, sitting there, in the nice library chairs we were in,
Yeah.
and sitting back, sipping on these whiskeys, and like you knew you were drinking something because of the proof, but it did not. It was not hard to drink it at all.
Oh, yeah.
I think that is something really interesting about it.
Oh, 100%. Like, whenever you see something that's nearly 140 proof, I mean, how many things these days are nearly 140 proof?
Yeah.
Not a lot. Not a lot of things you're drinking and going, oh, that's, tastes great or it's easy to drink.
Yeah, so
You're
like
not gonna hear people say that.
the blending probably helps that. Like, I don't know, I guess
Smooth out some of the rough
smoothing it out.
ends,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I think has
Yeah.
happened. I mean, $175, like, I expect it to be pretty smooth, at 138 proof for $175 and 12 years old. And I know that they bought it from probably MGP, so I know that they paid a lot of money for it, to be at least 12 years old. So there's probably some even older than that in there.
They mix a couple of these barrels together. Do you know if they get that from the same distributor, or they may have like two barrels from like Indiana and like one from like Georgia?
Well, of course, because this one says distilled in Indiana, like we know that it all has to be from there. It would have to. I mean, most companies nowadays will disclose where it's coming from if they do that. Yeah, I think it's all coming from a single source, depending on what it says on their bottle. But I mean, you guys know we've talked about it many times about how many people source stuff from Indiana and how much we do like it or don't like it. And I mean, in this case, I'm tasting like a really thick, nice caramel, and it's almost sweet, and it's just very rich.
My mouthfeel.
Yeah, very nice mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Like, listen, when we went there, we'll talk about it here in a second. We didn't taste this. This is something that we, I kind of got and wanted to talk about on here long before we even had a chance to go visit with them. So it's kind of nice to be tasting this now, but haven't had the experience of sitting there and sipping in their little tasting room over there.
So I got a lot of oak, and I usually don't like a lot of oak, but it was really good. I thought the taste coming out of that was at 138 proof was the oak kind of made it a little smoother to me. I don't know.
A good balance.
Yeah, it's like it's there, but it's not overwhelming like some of the 15 and 20
Well, you
plus
either
year
have
ones.
either have like a really oaky taste that I don't like, or you have a really high proof taste that I don't like, and it didn't have either one of those.
Oh,
so I don't know.
I think that's a high accolade from you, because
you
you usually
I don't like expensive stuff, and I don't like stuff from outside of Kentucky. So
there you go.
That's pretty good.
So it is. That's like we got like a double seal.
And I really don't like anything that's not bourbon, and this doesn't say bourbon either.
It doesn't. It says American whiskey, which we talked about. We don't know what the mash bill could be, but there might be light whiskey in here. We don't know.
I don't know what light whiskey is. It's like Diet Coke.
It's just kind of like
It's the European European
Coke
version.
Light. When you go to Mexico and you go to the all inclusive and you get your Diet Coke, it says Coke Light on it.
Or you go to your resort and you drink Ballantine Scotch, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
a big throwback there.
It's the light version, though.
So, fellas, would you pass, try, or buy on the Old Carter's Whiskey Batch 3?
All right, so I would buy. I would never buy. I know, right? Like, I would buy.
Is this sponsored?
It's almost like it's sponsored. But if you remember, Colorado, whatever that was, 1894 or whatever it was called, was not any good. And
1894.
Did not buy that. But no, I actually would buy this, but I probably would not have bought it without trying it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not just going to go in there blind. Like, I didn't know anything. Like, when this was available 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was, when I first started getting into bourbon, and I was like, man, I'm not paying $200 for something that I've never heard of. You know, like, and I had never heard of anything, at that time. Like, I only knew the big brands, and that was about it. I would have to try this. So I'm lucky and I'm fortunate enough, I guess, that we were able to try it free of charge.
Yeah. We visited,
because I don't know that I could even afford to try it at a restaurant. But I would buy it if I had the opportunity to try it first.
I'm going to agree with you. This is a buy, and I think this would be an exciting purchase because I think you would only pull this out for those special times.
Yeah,
obviously the price is going to keep you from doing this. Your daily drinker.
Yeah,
but I think when you pull this out,
what a stupid term.
Yeah,
sorry.
The proof and the way it drinks, you feel like you're really drinking something premium and nice. And so for those times that you want something, you can pull this bottle out and say, yes, this is a good time to drink this.
Oh, yeah. I agree with both you guys. And I will say that I was an Old Carter skeptic. So one of the hardest things for me was going and having the experience we had, right? We got to go there. We got to sit down, talk to Mark and Sherri and
how about
Jay
that tasting room?
In their tasting room, and such an amazing, fun, great time for us. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how many times did I see Old Carter on the shelf and I passed? Because, when they hit the market, I was out there. I remember when Kentucky Owl was released and being at Liquor Barn, getting a Weller 12 or something like that. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
But, I mean, to me, like, I'm sitting there and I said that to them. I just said, yeah, I've passed on your whiskey before, because I didn't know anything, and I was so jaded by high-priced source whiskey. And so then I'm sitting there, and I had tasted maybe once or twice before we went up there to sit down with them. And we got to taste American Whiskey 7, American Whiskey 8, a very small batch.
And so
bourbon.
7 or 8 are actually what's going to be released very soon.
Very soon, yeah. They're hitting right now, and all this stuff. And so now I'm sitting there, and I'm like, we're sitting there drinking them, saying I'm passing this stuff, and now I'm tasting this, and it's just phenomenal stuff. I mean, there's nothing else that I could say. I would buy it. I feel bad for passing on it, and even with the price being what it is, I'm still going to buy it because it tastes great, and I love it.
So I think you hit something, or we all hit something here. Like, these companies have to have, like, a struggle to figure out how you're going to get people to buy, or justify paying $200.
Absolutely.
When they don't know anything about it. Like, you got to be able to try that. I would not do that unless I tried it.
Yeah.
Like, I see all these companies that put all these bottles out there at $200, and I'm like, who is going to buy that not knowing anything about this brand? It has no history. It has no, nothing.
And you feel nowadays that's probably just purchased out of state.
Right, yeah.
The brand is just reigniting the name that no one knows.
So,
yeah.
And they don't, even them, like, I don't know how they would do it. Like, because they don't have public tasting room. They don't do tours where you can try it. They
Yeah.
don't do, they don't do anything like that. That's got to be hard, man. Like, you just
Yeah.
got to make yourself look good, I guess.
Well, yeah, and I mean, and then that's the tough part because there's only a limit, finite amount, and then the taste speaks for itself. But how do you get people to get there? That's what you're talking about,
Right, yeah.
How do you get people?
Because I'm not
taste it?
doing that. Like, I'm just not.
Yeah.
I'm not paying that.
I'm right there with you. Like, I would not. That's why it was hard. Like I said, for me after we were tasting stuff, and I had tasted stuff since then. Going, how did I pass on this stuff? So I don't know, because I did pass on it because of exactly what you said. Like, you got to get people to know this is good stuff to taste it.
It's kind of like Tool. How would you know if it's any good unless the person you're riding with plays it in the car?
Then you know.
And then I would obviously pass on it. You guys are biased because you're going to go to a concert. But
Oh, God.
I tried it and I'll pass.
So, what did you guys think? What were your expectations? I mean, now we're tasting this. We have gone and visited Old Carter. What were your expectations when you're going there? Did you think, what did you think you were going to... Because I know what I felt. I was like, okay, we're going to meet two folks that are up and coming. They've had established brands. They've done amazing stuff in the spirits industry. I didn't really know what to expect past that. I just was hoping, just to be able to have some good time talking to them, and so much more than that for me. But what did you guys think?
I didn't have much of a thing going into it. I didn't have much of a feel. But when we got there, we went into the front part of they have a small little place in Louisville.
Yeah.
The back, let's say 80% of the building was their bottling area. And so they just created this front little tasting room that was gorgeous. And I think when they came in, they sat down with us for almost 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And it couldn't have been nicer.
That was unexpected. I didn't expect them to spend that much time with us.
No, I didn't. We didn't know how much time they were going to give us, but I mean, they just talked. The three of them, Mark, Sherri, and Jay, were just so hospitable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was not expecting to not leave a 10 by 12 room, for 2 hours. I thought we'd at least, I didn't know what they had. Like, I didn't know if they had a room, if they had a warehouse,
I didn't know if it was gonna be
distillery,
like,
a bottling line,
yeah.
like whatever, a tour, like any of that kind of stuff. So I was not expecting to just basically like that was it. Like I went to the bathroom and I walked back there into which was basically their bottling line / distillery / whatever
Office.
office, like everything. And so I got to see a little more than you guys did, just briefly, because I went back there and there was nothing else to see. So that was pretty much it. So I was not expecting that.
Well, it's interesting because it seemed like the theme we got when we were there too is a lot of stuff is under construction, and so they had, they were working on an upstairs area where they're doing a kind of social club with being able to buy like a membership and then enjoy special bottles and things like that, or get perks on special bottles. And it had the feel of a place that's like just at the beginning.
Well, and then
know what I mean?
And they just closed on a bigger building. So,
Yeah.
so I guess to do more bottling and
Yeah.
labeling and all that kind of stuff.
It's almost like seeing them, like, even though like they're very established and they've been for years, it's just still they're like almost at the beginning of what they could possibly do,
Yeah, because I mean, it's crazy. Old Carter is only 5 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
But they also don't have any plans of being, I don't think, being any bigger than what they are really. So
Yeah, it seemed like maybe the new distillate might give them a little bit more outreach or whatever, but I'm not sure because then they were talking about
I
blending.
feel like the
and stuff
ceiling
like that.
maybe, would you say the ceiling would be like New Riff? Like probably not even that big, I don't think, which is pretty big now.
I mean, yeah, but it seems to me like it just depends on what the scale is going to be, right?
Peerless,
Because are you going to
Peerless is
be
smaller than New Riff.
yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to be like the everyday brand, or are you going to be like you have some everyday products, but mostly
What did they tell
luxury?
us? They
right?
told us they were
Luxury.
going to start putting stuff out here when it gets to be about 4 years, I think.
I think it was 4 or 5. Yeah,
4 or 5. I
Yeah,
mean, they
4 or
were.
5.
I think they said they kind of had a little point of contention on that. I think maybe
Yeah.
about whether they wait or. But
But
I'm
man.
assuming they'll just blend it. What they'll do is they'll just mix that in with, still continue to mix that in with stuff that they they buy.
Yep. But one thing I'll definitely say about the Carters, very fun people, very like family atmosphere kind of feel with them. Very generous with their time and just super nice people, and eager to make sure that people are trying the stuff that they're taking a painstaking time with to get these whiskeys perfect.
Yeah, so they seem to really enjoy telling stories, but then it seemed like they were telling stories that they don't. Everybody they probably tell a different story to somebody. Based on what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it wasn't like a tour where they just kind of tell the same stories all the time. It seemed like there were things that came to their head that reminded them of things that happened in the past.
Oh yeah.
So
it wasn't a script.
No, it wasn't a script.
No.
So I'm sure there are other people we've seen online.
Yeah.
That there's been a lot of other people that have gone lately too and met them, and so I'm sure that they've had similar but not exactly the same experience.
Yeah, I thought it was just funny when they asked us what stores we shop at because they know the stores
They
we
knew
shop
exactly
at.
what stores.
Yeah,
they knew what stores in Atlanta.
Yeah. They know
was,
every single store. That was amazing.
Right.
And
And the owner or the manager.
Yeah.
and the owner, and the manager, and they own the building. They own the
Yeah.
buildings that both Justin's House of Bourbons are in. So
Yeah.
in Lexington and Louisville. So
it was a lot of fun.
you see their ad on the side of the building. It's because they own the building. So.
And with that, thanks for listening to this week's edition. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY. Also, let us know your thoughts and spot on in the comment section. Until next time, keep it neat.